What's up, Gamecock fans? How y'all doing today? Happy Veterans Day to all you veterans out there. Rooster just wants to say thank you for your service and everything you did for our country while you were in the military. And we appreciate you and always have respect for the military. I always have. Wanted to join. I was going to be a Marine. They told me, nope, knees not good enough. Can't go. I don't know, man. I thought I did pretty good in sports, but military says nope, no pre-existing conditions. But anyway, Shane Beamer on the mic again today. Oh, Shane cannot ever resist throwing some type of jab out at the fans or narratives about his offensive coordinator hires. Now he's talking about he's got two positions he's got to fill, kind of working on some of that in the bye week. Where does he go? What direction does he go in? Lord have mercy, this sounds so much like we're going to have Mike Fury in 2026 and Sean Elliott's going to be offensive line coach in 2026. And then we're just going to hire a bunch of assistants to work under them guys. Another wide receiver coach or something. Hey, who knows how this thing works out, but didn't sound too promising because Shane Beamer sat there and says, I am not closing the door. He wanted to push back. So he's not closing the door on hiring another NFL guy because he doesn't believe he hired NFL guys. He brings up like 2005 Mike Shula with double wins. 2005, brother. And he's been in the NFL ever since he got fired in 2006 from Alabama. He's not an NFL guy. Well, maybe. It brings up Satterfield. Well, he got hired at Nebraska as offensive coordinator when he left here. Matt Rule, you know, Matt Rule was so great at Temple and... Dude, how many Temple coaches have been good and then going on to not be so good? How many other coaches at small colleges have been good and then get hired somewhere else and not be... Oh, Matt Rule at Baylor was pretty good. Art Briles was better. I mean, let's not... But he's not an NFL guy. He worked under Joe Brady, 2019, Marcus Satterfield with LSU. That was news to me because I didn't realize that. But anybody ever watched Joe Brady's offense in 2019 at LSU? It wasn't just him. Steve Ensminger was part of that, too, as a co-offensive coordinator. And Joe Brady loves pro style. And he had pro talent in 2019 at LSU. What in the right mind thought Shane Beamer thought he was coming in here year one with a torn-up roster that he's trying to rebuild, thought he could run the 2019 LSU offense with the guys that we had on the roster, the guys that he brought in through the cutting down the words, the verbiage, the different schemes. That's all pro style, dude. You could have brought in a guy that was simple, college offense. The verbiage wouldn't be great. I mean, I could use the boards with Kermit and Miss Piggy and whoever the hell else on it. So it's understandable for the kids and not so difficult to learn. These are questions you have to ask when you're hiring somebody. You know, and talking about Dow Loggins. Well, he worked under Kendall Briles, 2 years? And he was an NFL head coach, had been in the NFL, been all around, and he was a tight end coach at Arkansas. What made you think this guy was going to come in and run the Briles offense? He had 2 years of learning. I don't understand the pushback or why Beamer has to take jabs at any narrative that he thinks the fans have going when we've seen the evidence ourselves over his time here. You're not doing anything but pissing the fans off and poking back at the same fans that you ask to show up every Saturday and be loud and cheer for the team and support you and give the NIL. You take every opportunity you can to poke at them, dude. And it was an unnecessary poke. Just because you don't want to be proven wrong. And that's the reason you hung on to Mike Shula so long. You were bound and determined to get a game to where you could come right back at the fans and just give it to us that we were wrong. See, all of you pushing narratives. Mike Shula put up this many points. I mean, you bring up one game, we put up 63 points against Tennessee. Dude, that wasn't all that happened in that football game. You can throw that up, Shane Beamer, but we know the fact that Hendon Hooker got hurt. If not, you wasn't going to get it. He fumbled the ball. Then you got another short field. A lot of those scores in that Tennessee game were short field scores because of your defense. It had nothing to do with Satterfield. Well, he put up 63, which we'd already heard the rumors. His ass wasn't calling plays anyway. Now, Doty comes out and says they're shortening the verbiage on some of the play calls, which should have been the case a long time ago. You can't have these long, drawn-out play calls. And I've said it 1,000 times. Lenore Sellers is a better quarterback when you're running tempo, which means you're not making these long play calls. You're making shorter play calls, and you continue. It's your 2-minute offense. Yet you continuously beat yourself in the head all year and lost football games because you were stubborn, you were hard-headed, and you're still stubborn and hard-headed. I don't understand where you try to go and why you try to come at the fans. You win football games and the fans will be there for you. Keep pulling this stubborn, bullheaded horse shit. Speaking of horse shit, he talked about Texas A&M with the horse poop on their field. Way to divert conversations, but yeah, I mean, so what? Texas A&M has horse shit on their field. No one cares. We want to win football games. Texas A&M ain't going to be an easy team to beat, but yeah, I'll give them hell. They're a really good football team. And we're sitting here talking about horses shitting on the streets and in the grass and don't walk out there. I don't know. And then where's Mike Furry going to be? Is he going to be in the booth? Is he going to be on the sideline? Who cares at this point in time in the football season? These South Carolina reporters just piss me off with some of the dumbass questions. Where's he going to be? It doesn't matter. What's the plays he's going to call? How good are we going to be? I don't give a shit where the man sits or stands during a football game. But I guess y'all got to come up with something to be able to ask some silly-ass question just for shit to get diverted somewhere else and no pertinent information comes out. You know, I get it. Shane Beamer's not going to tell us the game plan. But, I mean, I don't know if y'all need to listen to some of these other reporters that cover other teams, but they actually ask legit questions. You guys are just clown. I don't know. Tweaking. Shane Beamer talking about tweaking. Shane Beamer, there's times it looks like you're tweaking, dude. When you're going off on the sideline, you look like you're tweaking. But talking about tweaking the play calls, taking some out, putting some in. What's it going to look like against Texas A&M? What will Texas A&M? Look, we ain't running no limestone offense. Anyone would want to say, oh, well, we're going to run Mike Fury limestone offense. Fire down Fury. Fire down the field Fury. That's what we're going to be. That's not what we're going to be. You can't implement an offense. He just told you that they worked Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday last week, and then they were off up until this week. You can't implement an entire offense that quick. Now, can you simplify it? Yes. Can you put in more pass plays, more simple pass plays, shorter pass plays? Something we've been begging for all year. Something that gets the ball out of Lenore's hands quickly. Something he can read quickly. Hey, the offensive line get better. Going to need to be against Texas A&M. That's a pretty damn good defense over there. I mean, I don't know, but they've been whooping ass all year. Now, have they beaten the top dogs in the SEC? No, not really. If you look at who they beaten, they beat Missouri, not the same Missouri team we played, for sure. And they gave up 200 yards of rush, well, 100 to Hardy and 100 to the other running back. I can't remember his name right off my head right now, but, you know, they had two running backs. So this tells me South Carolina's going to try to run. I don't care what y'all say. They just watched A&M's defense give up over 100 yards to two different running backs from Missouri. They're going to try to run the football. They're going to try to take some of those plays, and they're going to look at them, and we're going to try to run the football. If you get behind, then you try to sling it. I don't know. A lot of people think, well, it's going to be opposite. Maybe he tries to throw the ball to set up the run. I don't know. Maybe in our first, we go back to Virginia Tech and throw a lot of little short passes and get the offense going, which we really need to do because you need to build Lenoir's confidence. If you're not building this confidence in this game, and then you're asking him to come back in the fourth quarter and try to win football games when he's not really been successful the whole game, that's a switch that's hard to flip. But hopefully this fits him better. Hopefully now he's happy. Luke Doty is definitely going to be a coach on the staff because he talks just like a coach. We tried to teach Lenoir's how to keep his feet. He's a wee. Yes. But I love Luke Doty. He's definitely going to be a coach on the staff. But, what do we learn from Beamer? He's thinking about offensive line. He's thinking about offensive coordinator in his bye week. He's out recruiting, but he doesn't shut the door on the NFL. And I don't know where to go with that. Anyway, before I get angry, I'm just going to go ahead and get off this video and say I appreciate all you guys. Please like and subscribe. And, man, I just don't feel positive on what Beamer's going to do with this offense coordinator hire at all. You guys can tell me I'm being a hater. It's not about being a hater. It's just my feelings, my gut instincts about it. I don't know if he's ready to move on from this pro-style offense yet. I think he's bound and determined to make it work, and I think he's bound and determined to shove it in all of our faces. But anyway, y'all have a beautiful rest of your day. Peace.